I'm Justin Boyd.
And I'm Brittany Pacheco, and we are the Watchers in the Basement.
Welcome to the Watchers in the Basement. We are here today to discuss the Marvel Television special presentation of The Punisher: One Last Kill. Before I give my thoughts on it and Brittany gives her thoughts, let me hit you with some One Last Kill facts. It was released on May 12th, 2026. It was a single episode. It's like I said, again, it was a special Marvel Studios. It's under their Marvel Television label. It's the third special presentation. We had Werewolf by Night in 2022. Then later on in 2022, we had the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. This is a part of phase 6 of the MCU, although I don't think you can really tell where this story happens in the timeline of the Punisher. And we'll probably get more into that in a little bit. The Punisher, we've seen this character numerous times over the years. Jon Bernthal obviously is the main character. He made his debut in season 2 of the Daredevil Netflix series. Then he had a series of his own, also a Netflix series, which was 2 seasons. It ran from 2017 to 2019. We also saw him appear in the first season of Daredevil Born Again. He was not in season 2 because they were working on this project, which just came out. And he will be in Spider-Man Brand New Day coming up in late July, which we will of course talk about also. The runtime for this for this show was 51 minutes, which, I thought that I was like, man, that seems really short. I went back and looked at the other ones, and Werewolf by Night was like 55 minutes, and the Guardians holiday special was 45 minutes. So I was like, wow, these are shorter than I remember. So, it was directed by Ronaldo Marcus Green. It was also written by Ronaldo Marcus Green and Jon Bernthal. And the cast, one of the shortest cast lists I've ever had to read. Jon Bernthal, Deborah and Woll, Jason R. Moore, and Judith Light. Brittany, what did you think of The Punisher: One Last Kill?
First of all, the title is horribly misleading. There is nothing about one last kill in this special. Absolutely not. It is such a bait and switch. Yeah. But would we expect anything less from The Punisher? No, absolutely not. It's more like 1,067 last kills. And even then, spoiler guys, it's not going to be his last. Let's just be real. No, honestly, Justin, I kind of struggled with this, and you kind of know why. We'll talk about it in a moment. But I started watching this special right before you started watching, and I messaged you saying, I'm not even 10 minutes into this show, and I'm having a hard time. Like, it is rough. It is rough. And that's slightly pun intended. Yeah. Okay. Y'all know how much I love animals and how much I love dogs specifically. And that,
we're going to get into that. We'll get into
it. Yeah. I was like 6 minutes in, I wanted to turn it off and just not watch it because
One quick question for you, because we both watched it on the day it dropped on May 12th. When you watched it, did you have audio issues?
I did not.
Okay, so I did, and I have issues with my Disney Plus account for whatever reason on my big TV. My account, there are certain shows it won't let me watch at certain times. I don't know why. I've restarted it. I've removed the app. I've added it back. It just doesn't work sometimes. But on this episode, the sound was so low. I had to crank it up to like 70 to hear what they were saying. And I thought like either this is my TV or it's my account or something. Anyway, a lot of people reported they had the same issue, and Marvel went back and fixed it. They also fixed some visual stuff, which we can talk about. I know you noticed something that a lot of people noticed. They actually fixed that because I rewatched the episode, or we rewatched the special today. Mm-hmm. It does look better, but the audio was so out of whack for me. It was insane. I was like, is it? I thought like, is it on purpose? Is it like because it's such a downer especially in the beginning, and he's in this deep dark place? I'm like, are we not meant to be able to hear what he's saying? And it turned out it was an audio issue and they fixed it. So I just want to get you off the jump because that's the first thing I noticed. I was like, what is this? What's going on? Okay. Get back to your overall thoughts, what you thought about the special.
Yeah, no, I did not experience the audio issues. And like you said, watched it same day it dropped. Maybe I was one of the lucky ones. Let's be real. I struggled with the first 6 minutes and I'm like, this is horribly depressing. For me, okay, and as someone who does suffer from depression, this was a tad bit triggering. I'm not gonna lie. So it was difficult on many accounts to watch this, but hey, we're gonna power through. We're gonna, this is just a story. It's not real. but it can be for many, many people. And I think that's like the hard side of it is PTSD and any kind of trauma is just very real. And it's tough. It's tough to work through every day. So I definitely had thoughts. um, Overall, for it being as short as it was, it did leave me wanting more. I feel like the first half kind of dragged a little bit, but understandably, to try to understand the psyche that is the Punisher in that moment. And I remember seeing something shortly after it dropped. People were like, "Oh, this is a side of Punisher that we've never seen before." Him just like kind of, I won't say like lashing out, but just him seeing things or talking and no one's there. He, I'm like, no, this is we've seen this before, especially in the Netflix series. Like when we're seeing that side of him pleading for his family and just no, 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 no. Like, dude's got range. Okay, Jon Bernthal just has range, but we definitely delve more into a darker side of it. It's not that I dislike it. It's just it was really tough to watch. It's not something I don't anticipate ever watching willingly again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it for it being less than 50 minutes. I mean, I'm including not including credits. Told a really interesting story. I appreciate the fact that Jon Bernthal did a lot of his own stunts, like being set on fire and that leap that we're going to talk about the visual effects problems, which I'm glad they went back and fixed it. Hopefully it looks much better than what it did the day that I watched it, because whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It was noticeable. Yeah.
It was horrible. Okay.
Yeah.
It was bad. But yeah, they went for it. And hearing Jon Bernthal post interviews, right? He's like, it's meant to be darker. It's meant to go to a place that normally people are too afraid to go to. And him having a hand in this, I think it's always nice to have an actor contribute in the writing in some way, because obviously they play the character. They kind of feel very attached to their art and they want to contribute. And I think it's cool. But yeah, rough. A tough watch for me personally. I'm sure many others out there would feel the same. Justin, what were your thoughts on this special?
So I liked it. I thought it was entertaining. Like obviously he kind of is Marvel's John Wick in a lot of ways, especially given what happens to a dog in the beginning.
Damn it. I was just going to say.
I mean, really, it really is kind of like Marvel's John Wick, except for maybe John Wick on steroids, because it's honestly more violent than John Wick somehow. And to me, it's easily Marvel's most bloodiest, most violent thing that Marvel Studios has ever produced. So in that respect, like I said, that there is a quality to it where it feels like you're playing like a first person shooter video game and it's the Punisher game and you're just killing people, like killing these bad guys. I mean, watching him do that, the second half of the show is just Frank Castle killing 50 to 70 dudes. I tried to count today and I lost count, but I know it was more than 50. I don't think it was 100, quite 100, but he kills a lot of guys. And, obviously you're rooting for him given what's happening in this in this rundown neighborhood in New York City. But it's one of those things where there's not a whole lot to it, and like I think it, like, obviously the special format, it works well for the special format. I think for the character, it might have been the perfect format for telling his story, because he is kind of a one note character. I mean, he's a revenge based character. And there's a lot of revenge based characters. I get that. But like, to me, I think he works better than Ensemble. I think he works better. I think obviously he works best opposite Daredevil. I'm interested to see how he works opposite Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, which we'll see this summer. Can't wait for that movie. But I think the reason why we got this, why it was special, why it wasn't a season, is because I don't know that his character isn't strong enough maybe to carry a movie per se. Even though I think Jon Bernthal is actor wise is strong enough to carry a movie on his back. I do believe that. But I think the character, because of the weird spot we're in where, he had the Netflix show, which I did not watch his Netflix show.
Okay.
I probably should. I haven't yet. I did watch it. I thought he was excellent in Daredevil season 2. I think he's probably
Oh,
the best
God,
part of
yes.
it. His scenes in Daredevil season 1, Daredevil Born Again season 1 were the best scenes of the season, in my opinion.
Mhm.
And the last time we saw him in that season, he had been captured by Kingpin's task force, but he was able to
Mhm.
get free of one of the cages and leave. So,
Yep.
and that kind of brings me back to my other point about it's hard to figure out where this takes place. And
Mhm.
I don't think we're meant to know because I think the purpose of this special is for the people who are going to see Spider-Man, and Spider-Man is going to be $1 billion summer film. I mean, that's guaranteed. It's going to make a ton of money. It might make, it's going to rival Doomsday. I really believe that because Spider-Man's the number one character and people love that character. He's had 2 straight billion-dollar movies. The last one almost made 2 billion. So people are all about Spider-Man. So for the people who are maybe don't know much about Punisher, this is kind of like an introduction, not a total origin story, but you get his backstory, enough of it. But then you also get the aspect where it's kind of a one-off comic where there's this crime boss who wants revenge on him because he killed her family because her family killed his family or were a part of
Yeah.
killing his family.
Yeah.
And so you just get this this beat 'em up, action fueled less than an hour special. And I think
Mhm.
in some ways I think it was perfect, but other ways it kind of was like it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be there was going to be more to it, but I think it was just enough to get people to, okay, if I know nothing about Daredevil and I'm going to see this movie, now I know a little bit about him without
Yeah.
having to go back and watch 2 seasons of a Netflix show that I think
Yeah.
people thought were good, but they're like 26 episodes and they're, 26 hours of stuff. So anyway,
So I will agree with that. Shout out to Trisha who's joining us
yeah,
in today's live chat. Appreciate you being here. It's been a minute. We're happy to see you in the chat. Oh, she says I was disappointed with it. I was expecting more from it. Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Well, stick around. We're going to talk obviously a lot more in depth. Love to hear your thoughts, of course. So, as someone who did watch the Netflix, The Punisher TV series,
yeah,
season 1, awesome, great storytelling, deservedly needed to be a television series to tell that story. Whereas I feel with season 2, that actually could have been like a Punisher movie because it kind of dragged. It kind of just the storytelling just wasn't nearly as good as season 1, which is obviously hard to follow up, right? And with Jon Bernthal as Frank Castle, the Punisher, he's incredible at what he does. So for this to be just a very quick TV special situation, and like what you said, it's kind of like an intro, but not an origin story. I mean, now he's officially in the MCU, even though he's already previously been in it because of
right.
Daredevil. The fact that he has like a solo project where it's focused on him, and you're right, he works so much better solo than with like an ensemble. Like he doesn't need that because he just carries himself greatly.
No,
And it
I think actually it works better with an ensemble because
oh, it works better with an ensemble.
I think I mean, I think he could do either, but like I think he works better as an ensemble because he's kind of a one note character. Like
Well, true, but in this case, because it follows the story of the repercussions of him having killed Tony Nucci from season 1 of The Punisher, the Netflix series. It's something you kind of forget. I'm like, well, this last name sounds familiar. Like I do. It's been a while since I've seen the Netflix series, but I remember it being impactful, right? Like you said, because this family went after his family, and now it's just ongoing revenge to avenge his family, right? And um, to have matriarch of this family come after him and this whole like, hey, I need you to help me, because the whole little Italy that this takes place in is just in complete disarray, right? And to not know the time and place where this falls in the main kind of timeline of New York and in the MCU and what have you, because obviously New York has Daredevil, has Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and many other characters that I can't think of right now. I like that it's separated from the main timeline because to try to make it fit has as of late been the challenge that Marvel has faced. I truly feel so.
Yeah.
For this to be kind of the one-off standalone, I think is awesome. But I still think that Frank Castle works better independently than having an ensemble. That's just me. The focus on him, his brutality, his tactics of using weapons. Because let's be real, the creativity behind him killing all these people is none other. It's and I think the John Wick comparison is spot on for sure. So I I I liked it for what it was. I do very much appreciate that it was very short because it was a tough watch, like I said. And to bring him kind of back into the MCU, like this is a big bad, not big bad, but like this is someone you don't want to fuck with.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna see him in like one of the biggest superhero movies of all time in just a few short weeks is really, really cool. Even though I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan like everyone else. No disrespect, people. But yeah, I mean, it worked.
Yeah.
It absolutely worked. I could do with a Punisher movie. And I mean, this could have potentially been a Punisher movie, like just on its own. But I feel like this worked for what it was. Going back here in the live chat, Justin Trisha says it did what it was set up to show his transition from revenge to purpose. But I would have liked to slow down and better storytelling. It was giving everything everywhere all at once with some not so great effects. Yes, we're going to definitely talk about that shortly here, Trisha. And she also says, I thought this is simultaneously happening
when Daredevil,
when Daredevil happened.
Yeah.
It's very possible.
Right.
But again, I appreciate the fact that it's really not directly involved.
Yeah. I think we're not meant to know that. I don't think I don't think they put any thought into that, honestly.
Well, but for what we can tell, this obviously leads up right to before his appearance in Spider-Man. Like how else?
Yeah, I think it's more about that than it is to Daredevil.
Yes.
So
Agreed.
And
even though we've seen him mostly with Daredevil. So.
Yeah. And the last time we saw him, like I said, was in Daredevil Born Again season 1. So let's kind of hit some of the high notes throughout this special. I gotta say, like the music choices were, I never thought I'd hear Danzig's Mother or a Hate Breed song on a Marvel Studios production. Like that wasn't expecting to hear Hate Breed, but obviously it kind of fits the character. I thought that was well done. Let me read the premise for the special real quick here. Frank Castle's haunted by ghosts of his past as he tries to move on from his life as the brutal vigilante Punisher after avenging the deaths of his family, only to be drawn back into the conflict by crime lord Ma Nucci, who was played by Judith Light, who I think it's interesting that she's the crime boss because she was Who's the Boss. She was in Who's the Boss. So that was her. I haven't seen her in a long time. I thought she did a great job she doesn't have a ton of scenes, obviously. No one really does except for Jon Bernthal because it's only 50 minutes. But
hey, but she commanded her scene with him. Oof.
Yeah, no, she was good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was that interaction with her because you see this character who is frail, physically frail, right? Has to use an electric scooter or a electric chair in order to move about. And then when she begins her story, again, this is a complete disarray environment that Frank Castle is living in, and she recognizes him and says, Frank Castle, you need to help me, and starts telling the story about every killing that her family endured. And of course, it's by Frank's hands, and talks about her experience watching her prince, her youngest, die. And it was really, I think that was really great storytelling, right? Because it's like a mother pleading to someone, please avenge my family. Right. But then she flips it and it's like, I'm going to come after you at the same time that my son was killed. Right. Everyone's going to know your location. Everyone's going to come after you. And like, you will know the true, like basically saying the true revenge of the Nucci family. And it was, she commanded that scene. You could kind of see a little bit of fear perhaps in Frank Castle's eyes in that moment.
Yeah. And she was very specific because she said that, it's 6:47 PM because that's when he killed her favorite child, Carlo. He crushed his head on the sidewalk. she had a great line to Frank Castle where she says, "You didn't finish anything, Frank. I'm the one who's doing the punishing now." I thought that was pretty strong. Although then
Great
you
play on words.
see, her team of thugs that she sends after him, just waves and waves and waves and waves of thugs who
Mhm.
all just get brutally beaten and killed and
Oh,
shot.
yeah.
I mean, just the guy with the blue pen. I mean, like
Oh, yeah, that
you
was
have
intense.
you have this jacked up, inked up guy who dies literally by a blue ink pen, just being stabbed all over his body,
Mhm.
blood everywhere. Again, not expecting this kind of stuff from Marvel Studios. Also, not expecting the beginning of it where there's this older Marine who is in this rundown, Sicily, New York City neighborhood, and it's the Nucci's it's their neighborhood, but obviously you know, it's
The
kind of
restaurant.
being well, yeah, but that's their neighborhood that they run, but
Yeah.
since they're no longer in power, since they were killed by Frank Castle, it's overrun with crime. There's just criminals everywhere. It's like a madhouse the whole time.
Yeah.
And we get this group of thugs, primarily this one guy who takes this Marine's hat. He also has the Marine has a dog, takes the guy's dog, pets him. You think he's gonna steal the dog, which is obviously horrible to steal someone's dog because this Marine is not only is he an older guy, but he's hobbled
He's
and
disabled.
disabled,
Mhm.
yeah. And the guy takes the dog and you think, "Oh, he's gonna steal the guy's dog," because the guy's like, "Don't take my dog, don't take my dog." And then he throws the dog in front of a garbage truck or some massive truck, and
An
obviously
oncoming
yeah, and
garbage truck.
obviously the dog is killed, which again, this is not your normal Marvel Disney fare, I would think.
And that is the moment I wanted to turn off the special and just leave it. Oh my goodness, like, no. No, I should have known after that moment, that this was gonna be a tough watch.
Yeah.
The extreme level that we went to, or we're experiencing, to show just how evil people can be,
Right.
and how you would think Frank would arrive time and place to come and avenge his fellow Marine brother, but like
Yeah.
nowhere to be seen. And in fact, because I want to move away from that scene because it plays in my head right now,
Yeah.
the fact that when we do see Frank and he is in his apartment, he's seeing people who have long since passed,
Mhm.
hearing voices, if you will, and the true chaos that is PTSD, right? He's the Marine tattoo that he has on his chest, he goes and slices it with his knife. And like
Yeah.
it's kind of like this man no longer has a purpose because he has fulfilled avenging his family, right? And now he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't have a job anymore. And so you see that struggle, you see him walk out of his apartment, the chaos that's around, and all this crime that's occurring around him. And he's got tunnel vision,
Yeah.
not helping anyone in any way, not even acknowledging what's going on around him. He's just about his business. And you see that in the little coffee shop where he's waiting in line. There's another individual there who possibly is struggling with some, like, mental issues, and the owner of the coffee shop is being really patient, really understanding. He's like, hey, like, you need to stop that. You need, whatever. And this is all happening in front of the owner's daughter, right? Frank acknowledges her. She kind of smiles at him, and
Yeah.
the family's trying to protect the little girl as much as they can, but like this individual who's in there is unstable, and Frank doesn't do anything about it. He's just waiting in line, getting his coffee, getting his whatever, and he leaves. And it's like, oh my God, this is such a flip from who Frank Castle has been. And it's really sad. It's really heartbreaking because then the next thing you see him, he's at the cemetery in front of his family's graves, and he's talking. He's talking out loud. He's talking to his daughter, which I'm sure, Justin, you know this. His daughter is played by his real life daughter,
Right. Yep.
Jon Bernthal,
Yep.
which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see a real life father daughter get to share the screen.
Yeah. No, definitely. Obviously, the family part is a huge part of his story, and like you said, it looks like he's going to take his own life because he doesn't have a purpose anymore. And like you said, the only other characters besides that kind of have speaking parts besides the store owner and the old Marine guy are people who are not actually in his life right now. These are his former Marine buddies and also Karen Page, who we see. And obviously, they had a strong connection from the Daredevil show that was on, or from the Daredevil and Punisher shows that were on Netflix. And we talked about this just last week when we talked about our review for Daredevil Born Again season 2. Frank Castle and the Punisher is referenced several times, and I mean those task force guys still have his logo. They're still fanboying for Punisher on their uniforms, but we did not see him in that series. But I did think it was interesting. Or it was nice to have Karen show up, even only for a scene where she both scolds him and then consoles him in this time of like where he's in this really dark place.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's something there, obviously. Like
Yeah,
I know you haven't watched the Punisher
no,
series,
but
but
I can
it's
gather like
there.
it's yeah.
It's
Um,
there. I can't I'm hoping for a love triangle to be shown on screen one day. Like I need to see that dynamic
yeah,
amongst the three. But anyway, yeah, you're right. So this episode, this special rather, is really focusing on Frank's ghosts and coming to terms with all of that. Right. He tried to take his own life at the gravesite before his deceased daughter appeared to him
yeah,
and then vanishes, and he's just struggling with that. Walks home, and that's where he encounters Ma Nucci. She tells him what she tells him, basically, hey, we're coming after you,
yeah,
and you need to, that's just what you need to know. When Frank goes into his apartment, and then you're hearing the chaos around with the 6:47 time approaching, you hear people coming in, they're disrupting the neighbors across the way, the neighbor who's a single mom with her son, they're being attacked. Again, Frank does nothing. He looks through his what do you call it, the little peephole on the
yeah,
door,
yeah,
sees that someone is pouring gasoline in front of his door, lights it on fire, and it seeps through and actually catches Frank on fire. Really, really scary as hell stunt, but it was effective, right?
yeah.
Really fucking effective, because that kind of really channeled Frank Castle to become the Punisher in
Well,
that
and
moment.
also he can hear I don't know if it's the kid across the hallway
Yeah, he can.
first, and then he hears
Mm-hmm.
his daughter calling
Yep.
for him,
Same
and so
thing.
that's when he has like this like guttural roar, and he just
Mm-hmm.
like I think he runs through the door and just
Yeah, he
starts
breaks it down.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just starts killing people. Just I
Left and
mean,
right.
yeah, hammers, axes, handguns,
Yeah,
rifles, whatever it takes. He's getting the job done. The fight just continues. I don't think it wasn't a oneer, but it kind of has that feel where he's going
it does.
from room to room, from floor to floor. Like then
Mm-hmm.
he falls. He has this big fall, and this is what we were talking about, where he falls. I think he falls back on like an air
Like a
conditioning.
scaffolding.
Well, no, at first
Oh no, the air conditioning. You're right. You're
he
right. You're
falls
right.
to like an air conditioning
Unit.
unit,
Mm-hmm.
and when it originally aired, it looked definitely like it was like it was
RPG
obviously, yeah, it wasn't he didn't actually make that fall. That was a
stunt.
computerized, yeah, CGI
Mhm.
kind of thing, but it definitely didn't like look like a person, looked more like a video game kind of thing.
It was bad. It
Yeah,
was like, think of the Mummy 2, the Brendan Fraser Mummy 2, where you see the Scorpion King for the first time, and you look at The Rock
yeah,
as the animated Scorpion King, and it just looks terrible. That was my first thought when I saw that effect
yeah.
for for this fall, and I'm like, this, really, for all the money that Marvel and Disney combined possess, and this is the end
Yeah, but
product.
you know
Oh
what the thing is, Brittany, I read that book a couple of years ago, and I
yeah.
often like go back to it.
Mhm,
It's the rise of Marvel Studios.
mhm.
Um, it's not about the money, it's about they often just run out of time. Like,
That's fair.
I mean, no, it's how it's like their Marvel method of, it's they're always kind of constantly changing stuff, and reconfiguring things. And I mean, I know you know that from
Yeah.
what we do for our actual jobs.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that, except for it's with, major motion pictures or big time streaming TV shows. And sometimes the VFX shots are not ready. Sometimes the sound quality is not up to par, but they were able to fix it. But
Yes.
yeah,
Well,
it was noticeable. It was fixed. I mean, I am a little bit more lenient on like that kind of stuff because it's like, I mean, I know a real person didn't make that fall. At least onto an air conditioning vent, like, that's not real, but so I'm okay with it, but,
I mean, you could do it with, wires and all that other
right,
stuff. Yeah, of course, you can make that effect, like a
yeah,
practical type effect, sure. But yeah, it was just really disappointing to see this really dramatic, heroic sort of like fall, where he turns and he takes the shot and kills the person who's coming after him, and
yeah,
then to land, and as he's landing, that's the quality we're getting. It was really disappointing. I'm glad they fixed it. I'm not going to go back and watch it because I'm not. I'll take your word
yeah,
for it.
yeah, but, the worst fall that Frank takes is the next one where he falls on the scaffolding,
Oh, yeah,
then he has to fall away because the guy's shooting at him, and he falls and he hits the
the
top of a
bus.
bus and then hits the
Mhm.
ground, and it's like, I mean, that looked I mean, that's like, you're not walking again if you have that fall, like, you're
Yeah.
very, very injured for a long time.
I feel like it was that moment I got into the group chat and I'm like, the Punisher is indestructible.
Right, right,
This is a man
yeah,
who that's it. He is a man.
right,
He is not a metahuman. He's not a soup. He's not anything. Right?
right,
He's not just Jessica Jones or Luke Cage or Iron
exactly,
Fist.
yeah,
He is a man. And he is a man that is beaten half to death,
mhm,
shot, stabbed, somehow surviving these extreme level or extreme heights of falling,
yeah.
only just to get right back up and walk away.
Yeah,
Insane.
yeah, I mean, when on that fall, I was like, that's something like Wolverine would do, but then Wolverine has the healing factor where he can just get up and be okay,
Mhm.
but Frank Castle doesn't have that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that was probably like the craziest kind of thing in this episode as far as like a physical thing that you saw or that I saw.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then at this point, he like I said, he's fought through the building, he's killed a ton of people. Now he's in the streets. The streets are just it's just crazy
Chaos.
and total chaos. And he has a chance to go after Manucci and her,
Mhm.
her limo driver and bodyguard, but then he sees that same shop owner that he had seen, that he visited earlier. He sees that guy, his wife and his little daughter. They're in danger,
Mhm.
and that's when he like full on just like that's when that hate breed song kicks in, and he just loses it and goes in there, kills
Yep.
everybody, brutally kills them. That's when we get the blue pen scene where this
Mhm.
big jacked up guy seemingly has the advantage on him, and then he grabs whatever he can get his hands on, which is the blue pen, which is the same pen that the store owner was like writing down food orders on.
Yep.
Takes that and just jabs the guy to death.
Mhm.
I think the guy like there's like blood. I don't know if he gets him in the eye or the blood's in the eye. I can't remember exactly, but it's really bloody.
Did he get him from underneath the chin and because there was blood
Maybe.
in the mouth too?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, yeah.
that was
And he
yeah,
spits
he
blood into his
spits it
eye.
up, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I think he got him from kinda like Noir, that's how Noir died, right? Like, stabbed to the chin, or
Right.
underneath the chin
Yeah.
or underneath the jaw. Yeah, very, very whew, very brutal. Of course, he saves the family,
Yeah.
and, hey, shout out to Papa too, because the shop owner, like, he was defending
Yeah.
his business, his family, he took a beating as well, and you can just tell that this is a very loving, tight-knit family. The
Mhm.
little girl, embraces her dad, runs off before Frank leaves, and brings him, for lack of better terms, a token of her gratitude. And
Right.
it's this, I don't know if it's like a knit or a sewn
I think it's like
flower
paper. I
type.
think it's paper, right?
I don't know if it's paper. It looked like fabric to me, but whatever
Okay.
it is a
Yeah.
flower. It could have been the flower that maybe she was drawing or
Yeah.
working on before she went to school that morning. But she gives it to him, says thank you, goes back to her family. And for Frank, it really meant something because he goes back to the cemetery, clears off everything that's around his daughter's headstone, and places that token from the little girl, and begins to speak to his daughter, who's by the way, her name is Lisa. Speaks to her, but he always refers to her as baby. Okay, that was his little girl. That's his baby, and he goes, I think you were with me today. Because I think you were with me today. And I think that's all Frank really wants, is he wants to be with his family, whether that's, in this case, it's physically, or just to have a remote sense that they're near, which I can understand.
Yeah. No,
I'm not going to cry.
that's where he finds his purpose. And that's where he basically says, like, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
And, he decides he's going to become the Punisher, and that's when he gets the new suit, which we're about to talk about. But he does say the one batch, two batch, penny and dime. Papa Bear's a baker, so am I. And then he says it again. He says, one batch, two batch, penny and dime. I love you, baby girl, till the end of time. And so that's kind of, yeah.
Yes. And for Justin, because again, you didn't watch the television series or the Netflix series. It was a story that he would have his daughter. He would read to his daughter, and it was something that he would always say before he pulled the trigger when he was on his path to avenge his family. It was just something he said all the time.
Yeah, it was referenced in season 2 of Daredevil also.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did see that one, but
yeah.
So now he's Punisher, and then now we get to the very end of it where he is now back on the streets, but he's in the Punisher costume, and he runs into those same thugs that got the Marine in the beginning of the special. He sees the guy with the Marine's hat, great, holds a knife to the guy's like eye or to his throat or whatever.
Well, because the guy was about to bash the back of this couple. They were walking, they were excited about going on a trip, and he comes up behind them as if he's going to bash their head in with a crowbar or a bat or something.
Yeah, I think it's a bat.
And Frank intercedes and knocks him down, approaches him, and Frank Castle's back, but back in a new fit. Also, who cut his hair? Because that shit was clean. Okay. Like looking at the picture behind us, right? It's a very, very rugged Frank Castle, almost to the point where he's
rugged, disheveled, injured,
homeless,
like bleeding. Yeah, he's looking rough, but
he's looking rough.
At the end, it's a clean cut. He's got a nice.
I won't say clean cut. He still has the beard, but it's very well kept. Yeah. And he's got the fade going. I was like, man, he's looking good. Like, who's his barber? Who does he go to in this like little Italy that's just completely in disarray?
Yeah.
Who?
Exactly.
But please talk about the fit.
There's somebody. Yeah. But no, so he takes the hat, the Marine's hat, back from the thug guy. The guy runs away. The older Marine says, that's not the only thing he took from me, referencing the dog. As the guy's running away, Frank pulls out a knife, throws it at the guy, hits him in the back. The guy goes down. Frank then walks over to him. And to me, this is the best shot of the show, of the special. Stands over him and delivers the kill shot. And then we get the Punisher logo, and that's the very end. I thought it was a very strong finish to this special. And like I said,
absolutely.
I enjoyed it. I wish there was more to it, but I understand it. So like it's kind of like it's not my favorite special. I thought the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special was actually really good.
That one was really good.
But like I think it served its purpose, and that's really kind of all we can ask for. Honestly, I like these specials. In fact, I wish more of the shows were just specials. I think that if we got these one-off character stories, it'd be easier for them to then establish a character, give us something about the character, give us their origin, a little bit of backstory, whatever, and then you can have them appear in a team-up movie or in another film, and it doesn't bog us down with the 6 or 8 or 10 episode seasons of these shows that a lot of people don't end up watching. Like Daredevil Born Again season 2. I didn't like the first season. I really liked the second season, but not a ton of people watched the second season from what I've read.
Oh,
people did not stick with it. Or did not come back to it. So I think the specials are kind of a way that they can kind of cover these characters that maybe aren't, solo film worthy or certainly like series worthy. And you can kind of introduce them, then you can bring them into your other films, and then, who knows? You may create the next great character. You may, unveil the next great character that's gonna be in an Avengers film or in a Spider-Man film down the road, which that's what Frank is gonna be in the next time we see him.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think that it's a better use of time and just getting a quick story out there
Yeah.
without trying to attempt to drag out something and then make it fit into,
Right.
let's say, the main storyline. I agree.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. It might have been, just throwing it out there, She-Hulk might have been a little bit more successful had it been
Yeah, I
maybe
mean,
a special. I don't know.
maybe so. Yeah, I think a lot of stuff. I think Ironheart might have done better. I think
Oh,
a lot of them would have been better if it was just a self-contained thing,
I
'cause
did like Ironheart though,
it's
but yeah.
interesting because this was definitely a one shot, and, like, for those
Mhm.
that don't maybe know the terminology, like, it's funny because a few weeks ago, one of the episodes of The Boys was called One Shot,
One shot.
and
Yeah.
basically a one shot is just that. It's a self-contained story featuring basically one character, right?
Yep.
Highlighting one character, and that's what this was, and I thought it was well done. I wish there were more, but I get why there wasn't, and, um,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with Frank Castle in Spider-Man: Brand New Day. So,
Mhm.
Brittany, this is a little shorter episode, given this wasn't a very long special to talk about. What are
Yeah.
kind of your final thoughts as we get out of here?
Ultimately, tough watch. Not sure I will ever watch it again
Right.
based on just the first 6 minutes. You know, the thing is, if an episode or a movie doesn't grab me in the first few minutes, you're just gonna lose me. This grabbed me in a way that I do not ever wish to
Yeah.
experience ever again. Okay, that wasn't fun. Uh, Who decided on that? I know Jon Bernthal and Ronaldo were writing this thing. I want to know who decided on killing this poor animal.
Yeah.
Why? Just why? Awful.
Well, I don't think that the animal was actually harmed in the making of this,
No,
but
and I'm glad we didn't actually see
yeah. No.
see it because I would be protesting. But
They're not gonna show that.
God no. But still, I would just no, absolutely not. And then hey, like I said, I appreciate the creative kills that Frank Castle will deliver to us,
Mhm.
right? I think who did I say? I said this on a different pod the other day about I want to see Frank Castle and oh god, Justin, who was it? Team up and see how they would, just go about marking everybody. Um, for the
I
life
do
of me,
remember you saying that, but I can't think of who
I
you
can't think who.
yeah,
Was it someone from The Boys? It probably had to be someone from The Boys. But
maybe.
anyway, um, yeah, I mean, I love Frank Castle. I think he's a great character. The Jon Bernthal has really brought this character to life and obviously is very invested in it.
Yeah.
I think I did see something recently where he would like to do more with with the character and maybe do a solo movie, but he wants to really be he wants to head it. Obviously,
Yeah.
he wants to have creative control and such. And
Right.
I respect that. I do respect that. I don't know if Marvel's going to go for that, honestly, but I do appreciate him wanting that
Yeah.
for the Punisher.
Yeah, and, this special comes out about 2 weeks after, Jon Bernthal another special that he wrote. He didn't direct it, but he wrote, a bear special. There was a special a few weeks ago called Gary, which is kind of an in between season 4 and season 5 episode of
Mm.
a bear, where I know you're not a fan of the bear, but in the bear,
Oh, I've just never watched it.
yeah, Jon Bernthal's character, he died before the show ever started. He's the big
Oh,
brother he's the big brother for Jeremy Allen White, whose name is Carmy in the show.
oh, okay.
And, in given like, it's funny because there's a lot of similarities between these 2 shows because obviously both were written by Jon Bernthal, but also just you kinda see the character, like, in the Gary episode of The Bear, Bernthal's character, um, later on we learn that he kills himself, and I think this
Mhm.
episode of that shows him it's like the last moments before he probably kills himself, and he has this breakdown. He rips into, like, his really good friend who is Evan Moss Bacharach, who, of course, plays the Thing in the Fantastic Four,
Who
and
also was
was
in
in
season 1 of The Punisher.
the Punisher series, exactly. So, there's a lot of similarities between these 2 properties, but I think it's interesting how in that Gary episode, of the bear, we see the last moments before someone takes their life, and in this, we
Mm.
see someone who decides that they don't want to take their life, and then they choose to continue on. Now, granted, the Punisher, he's going to take other people's lives, not his own.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, okay. Really quick.
yeah,
Could you maybe see it this way, where at the beginning you're seeing Frank struggling mentally, of course, he's hearing the voices, seeing people that are actually not there,
yeah,
Karen, his other friend, and like his children, of course. But when he slices his tattoo on his chest
mhm,
and what have you, could you maybe say that this is virtually like the death of Frank Castle and a
yeah,
rebirth of
yeah,
the Punisher?
yeah. You definitely could say that. I
Yeah.
think that. I mean, now will people still refer to him as Frank? I'm sure they will.
Oh, of course. Well, yeah.
But no, yeah, I think like not metaphorically, but like yeah, I think
Oh,
on
Spider-Man refers to him as Frank or something like
yeah.
that in the
Oh
trailer,
yeah,
so
he does in
yeah.
the trailer. Yeah. So no, but I think that's a good point by you. I think maybe it is kind of a rebirth for him as a person
Mhm.
and probably being more Punisher than he is Frank Castle. So
Yeah, yeah. Frank Castle is dead. Frank Castle
yeah,
is over.
right.
We're in the
Long
era of Punisher.
long live the Punisher, and
Long
we
live
will
the
see
Punisher.
him this summer at Spider-Man Brand New Day, and I can't
Yep.
wait for that movie. Looking forward to it. So now you know what we thought about the Punisher One Last Kill, the special from Marvel Television. We want to know what you thought about it, and Brittany, how can people let us know?
Well, like Trisha did earlier in our pod, join us for our out. I swear I can talk. It's just been a really
That's
long
okay.
day.
Yeah.
Join us for our live streams. You can do so at any time, but we always ask to subscribe
Yes.
and hit that notification bell. That way, you know the next time we go live, which will actually be next week. We're going to be
Yep.
talking about the series finale of The Boys.
Yes.
Oh my God, guys. Oh my God. Yeah, this is going to be one that you definitely want to join us for. So, like I said, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and while you're at it, go ahead and hit the like button. It helps out our channel a lot. It helps reach audiences who are nerdy like us and want to talk about all the things, just like the Punisher, the Boys. We've got a lot of other content coming to you soon, but also while you're at it, check out check out all of our social media links in the description box down below. Man, I am tired. Lastly, check out our audio podcast available to you on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and many others. Give us a follow and give us a 5-star rating.
Thank you, Brittany. I appreciate it. So for Brittany, I'm Justin saying thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We will see you next time. Have a good night. Bye-bye.